Hey, good morning, everybody, and this is George Moorhead with Bentley Properties. Today, we're going to discuss 6 mistakes to avoid when trading up or down to your next home. And it's it's a culmination of conversations that we've had with our clients as past experience, thousands of clients, literally thousands of clients, in their past experiences, and basically created this report so that you would have basically some insight of the biggest mistakes to avoid. All right. So again, my name is George Moorhead. I'm with Bentley Properties. I've been practicing real estate for roughly 26 years. I do build homes. I am also one of the past board of directors for the Northwest Municipal Listing Service, served for 6 years, and have some insights to share with you today that basically, again, to help mitigate any of those move up or move down type of mistakes. So first, rose-colored glasses. Our goal is to mitigate any of the misconceptions or maybe a false perception of what to expect. A real estate broker should be able to pull back all of the emotion, pull back and make sure that you're making a good, objective, good business decision. All right. We need to create expectations, right? We need to make sure that what you expect to happen will happen, right? Because, with the changing market, changing interest rates, our changing financial demographic as to what we can do, we need to make sure that that is pulled into perspective so that you're making an informed choice, all right? With that, we also discuss, or at least direct you to people to discuss any tax implications. Moving up or moving down, depending on the equity of your home, depending on sales costs, things like that, will have a direct impact on what your goal to move up or down. So we, again, create expectations. We want to make sure that we cover all of the goals and that we're making a good, solid business decision, all right? So I would say the next biggest mistake would be failing to make updates. So many of you may have seen the interview with Hannah Kim and myself, Fox Q13 News on Thursday, and we discuss a number of what we call the do's and the don'ts with real estate when you look at moving up to your next home or moving down, or even going from a renter and moving into your first home. So the key things that you want to keep in mind are to do the simple things to meet the greatest number of buyers that are going to want to take a look at your home, all right? With that, you may want to go ahead and get your contractors lined up in advance, all right? In other words, a lot of the vendors, a lot of your contractors during our spring market and late summer, they book out pretty quick, at least the good ones do, right? And so you want to make sure that you create that specific timeline. Things to consider, okay? You're going to want to take a look at doing some painting, okay? Yes, you like the colors that you have. I get that. But again, your goal is to match the masses or the greatest number of buyers that will be interested in your home. All right, so neutral colors are going to be very important. Having a purple wall might fit perfectly with your furniture and your lifestyle and your colorful way of doing things, but it's a takeaway many times with some of the buyers that are coming through. See, here's the challenge, right? So if you have a bunch of little things that you have to do, right? So let's say, I got to paint a wall here, and well, I've got a little touch-up damage on the wall over there, or, the exterior, it's got a little bit of damage on the front porch, or we got some cleanup to do in the yard, things like that. Your home goes from being hey, this is a really cute house, this is a good fit for our family, to, oh, we got a little bit of a fixer here. And that is the perception that they're left with. Now, with the market in our inventory heading in an upward trend, as it has been for the last 8 months, right? That means that buyers have more choices, right? We're seeing less multiple offers today than what we saw in the last 2 years, okay? Even though our spring market's a little bit lagging on picking up speed, but it is definitely picking up momentum, right? We want to make sure, or you want to make sure, that your home fits the greatest number of buyers in the market today. Because if they have, 4 homes to look at today where they only had maybe 1 or 2 the last couple of years, you want to make sure that you're on a level playing field or even a better playing field. And there are some really simple things to do to accomplish that. One of them is put a fresh coat of paint on. Okay, freshen up your floors. If you have hardwood floors, you can have them just what we call a simple sand and a fresh top coat put on. Typically, you should expect something around, about $2.50 a square foot, for hardwood floors to go ahead and have them refinished. Sometimes a little bit less, right? If you need a full sand, let's say you pull your carpets up and you think, oh my gosh, these floors are just awesome, okay? Especially in some of the older communities, right? You can actually spend about $3.75 a square foot, have them completely resanded, colored if necessary, and then 2 coats of finish put back on, and they look absolutely dynamite, okay? That's an option, right? Or maybe just refreshing the carpet. Depending on wear patterns in carpet and style and color, that's feedback that, we can help you with, or your agent can help you with, to decide, is that going to get you best, highest and top dollar in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassle, which is really what the goal is, right? So with that, we want to make sure that we're also addressing your furniture and how much stuff that we collect in our houses, right? So understand that you're going to be moving. So pack it up now. Get it into boxes, especially all the small little knick-knack things. Personal photos need to come down, things like that, so that, again, you're going to make the house, I know this sounds bad, you're going to make the house look like you don't live there, okay? You're just going to have a house that's going to give you some really simple, basic staging features so that the buyers that come in can visualize what they're looking at. So remember, the average buyer, okay, only 10% can see value through something. It's not a bad thing. It's just most people, they need a visual assistance, and that's what staging does. That's what a clean palette on your walls does. It's what clean floors, a deep clean of your house to ensure that all those smells and things like that. If you've got critters, cats and dogs, okay, you acclimate to this. But the problem is, like a house yesterday, we were in with Beth in a house yesterday. We no one walked in and was like, oh, they got a dog. You could tell. But the house was clean, all right? They had older carpets, but they were in good shape. The house could have been painted, but still, the walls were in good shape. But Beth's opinion was, oh, I don't know, can I get rid of that smell? Can I make that smell go away? And, I said, yes, there are ways to do it, and this is how we do it. We talked about it. But now that home, that emotion started to be pulled back out of it, okay? So you need to keep that in mind, that any funky smells, I shouldn't say funky, but anyway, it's okay. So funky smells, pet odors, things like this, and if you're a smoker, you do definitely need to do something, because I know, I get it, but it's a takeaway, all right? People can tell. And there are things you need to do to mitigate. Again, if you want to get best pricing compared to the other homes, right, that are that are available for sale, that are going to be, comparable to you. All right. So bathrooms. If you're going to do any kind of updating, bathrooms would be an excellent place to make sure that you're doing some simple updates. Same with the kitchen. Okay, you can replace counters very inexpensively. You can update sinks. You can update just the fixtures and accomplish the same goal. One of the things we were talking about during the interview with Fox Q13, is they've got this new product that they can put down over existing, if you have Formica counters, and it makes it, to a degree, look like granite. It freshens it. It gives it a new appearance, right? And I just got a comment. Somebody said, hey, why should I paint? Well, what's the first thing that buyers do when they move into a home? They paint, right? And you say, okay, well, if they're going to do that, why? Because you want them to have a fresh palette, okay? You want them to emotionally move into this home. Just like you will when you're looking at your next home, you're going to use these same evaluation tools as you're looking for your next home. This is no different than the buyers looking at your home right now. So keep that in mind and be objective about it, okay? If you need tips on what to do, but more importantly, what not to do to best prepare your home, give me a call. We'll come out, we'll take a look, no strings attached, or the real estate broker you're working with, have them come out and give you those, but you must remain open to them. All right. Staging, absolutely. Again, staging is very critical so that you can give a buyer a visual of what they need to, for them to fit into that home for their family. Right. Okay. The next biggest mistake, and I need to make sure that we're really clear on this one, getting pre-approved. I'm not saying pre-qualified. Okay. Not pre-qualified, not where you meet with a lender and you give them your taxes and you give them your W-2s and you give them your bank statements and your retirement account. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all of that plus going all the way through underwriting. All right, just conditioned on an appraisal. Okay, and what that does, especially as you're looking at moving up or moving down, depending on what you're looking at doing, it will help you to remove any potential concern. Lending has tightened up since 2008. Yeah, it's relaxed a tad bit, but not a whole lot. There are still a lot of requirements. There are funny little things that come up last minute all the time, okay? And what you don't want to do is to create any kind of timing lag, right? So make sure that when you get qualified for a loan, that it is pre-approved. The lender that you're working with say, hey, you know what? I need to go all the way through underwriting, subject to an appraisal. Okay. Now, understand, not all lenders are going to let you do that. Okay. It is an immense amount of work. It ties up a lot of time. They look at it, gosh, is this buyer really committed to me? Is this person 100% committed to me? And if they're not, I just spent a lot of time and money getting them through this process, right? That's not the right lender for you. You need to make sure that they have your best interest at heart, that you are not a paycheck, that they are doing what is in your best interest. And if you need some referrals on that, just send us a note, let us know and whatnot. Oh, good. Somebody let me know that they can hear us, which is awesome. All right. So next thing, the real estate catch-22. All right. Some people say, what's the real estate catch-22? I say, well, that's simple. That is the real estate catch-22 is the either owning two homes or not owning a home itself. In other words, as you're looking at making this move, okay, and you're looking at, either moving up again or moving down, you're like, well, do I buy first or do I sell first? Gosh, which one should I do? And that is a question we hear almost every day chatting with sellers. Well, should I buy first or should I sell first? And I said, well, there are a few different options to consider, right? And one of the key things that we need to look at, if you're looking at buying first, is the financial obligation, right? Because you've got now 2 mortgage payments that you need to work with. Plus, if you're not going to rent this other home out, you're going to be having to make, potentially 2 mortgage payments, right? In addition to that, there's the stress that goes with that because you still need to get that home that you're selling up to standard. Now, completely achievable, and people do it every single day, right? But when we do this, we need to make sure that we create that expectation, that we are working within the really kind of the financial ability of that specific family, right? Or the inverse, put your house on the market, sells very quick, and all of a sudden, boom, now you have no home. And you're looking at, do I do an apartment? Do I do short term? And it can create a ton of stress and a lot of problems. And so there are different ways to help mitigate that. One would be considered an off-market sale, right? So an off-market sale allows you more time to take a look for your next home, right? Plus, since your home is technically sold just pending a simple closing, it allows you to know exactly how much money you're going to have in your pocket on the day of closing to reinvest in that next sale, right? Or purchase, I should say. With that, it also removes all the stress. It really does mitigate the amount of stress because it now allows you the time that you need to accomplish your goal for your family without it becoming a financial burden, okay? That's another option. So technically, we have 3 options right off the bat, right? You can buy before selling, sell first, right? Or an off-market sale. 3 different options to consider. The third being probably the least stressful of the bunch, right? If you have any questions, post them. I'll answer questions more about an off-market sale, how it works, and how it can benefit you and your family. All right. Okay. The next big one is coordinating timelines, and I would say this is probably one of the key most stressful elements of making a move. Okay, especially when you're dealing with the real estate catch-22. Many times, what we've heard in the past are agents that they try and stack them. Oh, we'll do a same-day close. That is very much a bad idea, because you still have to pack, you still have to move, and what you're trying to do is to consolidate so much into one tiny spot. Yes, it's doable. Yes, it has been done. Yes, it can be done again. But the amount of stress, the amount of anxiety that it creates is unnecessary. When you were to take a little bit more time, right? In other words, allow yourself a lag time on the front side of your current sale, right? Of the home that you own and are selling. And then a little bit of lag time on the other side to allow yourself move in, okay? Which is completely negotiable between the parties. You can accomplish this goal very easily and really mitigate that level of stress of making a move, okay? The other thing that people don't count on, okay, because they look at it and they say, okay, especially the analytical minds, okay, I'm going to close on this day, movers coming this day, I'm going to do this on this day, I'm going to do this on this day, right? And then dealing with, unfortunately, contractor might get delayed here, buyer might get delayed on financing for something that came up in their financing documents or a disclosure, and then all of a sudden that whole thing goes out the window because now you're struggling on timelines, right? Oh my gosh, well, we got to close on this day because I have to be out of my house, on this day because I've already closed, what the heck? And this way, it allows you that time and flexibility, and your agreements between the parties should be written to allow for that flexibility, allow you to be able to adjust, which again, especially if you're moving with children, especially if you're moving with pets, especially if you're moving with, family members like elderly and whatnot, you need to make sure that you stretch out these timelines to ensure and, to mitigate any of the anxiety and stress, unnecessary stress that can be, basically planned in the future there. So with that, those are things that you want to keep in mind as you're looking at making a move up or down, right? Keep in the front side of your mind, and be objective about what you're doing and what the goal is for your next move, okay? Be very clear why you're moving. And that's going to be, one of the things that you'll discuss with your real estate agent, right? Make sure that you are doing the improvements that you need to make so that you hit the greatest number of buyers that would be interested in your home, all right? Shortcutting that element will cost you time and, most importantly, will cost you dollars, okay? And which mitigates, your ability to move up to that next home, or maybe diminishes the benefit of moving up to that next home, okay? Make sure, again, that you're getting fully pre-approved all the way through underwriting, all right? And not just a pre-qual, but again, all the way through underwriting. Make sure that you understand the pros and the cons of what we call the typical real estate catch-22 of either owning two homes or not owning a home at all, okay? What options do you have, right? And we talked about 3. Talk to your real estate broker. Feel free to ask questions here. We'll answer those for you. And then, again, make sure that you're monitoring your timelines, all right? And make sure that you're not trying to pack too much into one spot. Making sure that you have timelines is, I would say, is probably one of the top for sellers, and one that they laugh about later, but they definitely are not laughing at the time, right? All right. So with that, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Let's see here. We had one. Oh, thank you for explaining these issues. Right on. Okay. So if you have any questions after our conference call or our little video here, feel free to ask them. Again, there's no strings attached, right? I will do everything possible to answer your questions, give you some insights. Most importantly, provide you with some alternatives on what to do, but more importantly, what not to do to best prepare your home to ensure that you get the most amount of money, the least amount of hassle, and in the least amount of time. All right. In the meantime, Again, my name is George Moorhead, Bentley Properties. Hope you guys enjoyed this little Facebook Live experience, and I'll chat with you later. Oh, one thing, almost forgot. Last week we discussed inspections in basically the 10 biggest inspection pitfalls that you need to avoid, whether it's a buyer or a seller, right? Okay. A lot of people said, "Oh my gosh, that was a lot of information," and it is. And what's even more amazing is that I had to scale it down, because that class is typically a 5-day, 8-hour class that we give on inspections, right? What to look for, what not to do, best practices, and things like that. But we had to condense down really tight. So we've had some requests to break it up into smaller pieces and maybe do a series, a series of 3 classes, or Facebook Live sessions, and cover more in detail some of the things to expect and what not to expect. We had Angela came back and said, "Oh my gosh, I saw your video, and we went out to the house that Sunday. We saw the house in a completely different light, and we just wanted to thank you, but we've got a bunch of questions. Can we call you?" And of course, yeah, absolutely, give me a call. My number, 206-391-7766. I'll answer your questions. Send me a text, send me an email, post it here. Either way, let me know. Also, share the information with your friends, okay? It's really great information to help people kind of get prepared. And, again, if any questions pop up, let me know. In the meantime, have a great day, and I will chat with you later. Take care. Thanks.